This was telling us how on the Evolve series, there's like a little, call it like a slant on top of the subwoofers. As a DJ, you know, the subwoofer is often used as the drink table for a lot of people. But because of this little slant, you actually can't put a lowball glass on the subwoofer. Like, it doesn't allow. So, like,
it'll slide off.
It's so smart, right? Like,
more sticky subwoofers, that's for sure.
No more sticky subwoofers. Like I said, you know, it's so smart, and it's little things like that that make all the difference. We're really trying to get cigars and scotch allowed in this room, but it's been a battle. So we're gonna get there.
If you want me back, I'm gonna tell your management, like, there must be a bottle of Glenfiddich or something.
Yeah, I like where you even before our first podcast, they were, especially him, they were already talking about having cigars and scotch.
Yeah. I hope we're not late.
Yeah.
Hey, the night is young.
Today's podcast, we have Antony from Keyfinity talking to us about two brands that have come from a long time coming, Electro Voice and Dynacord, and how it's so much easier to pair speakers and amplifiers. And we're going to dive deeper into some of the product lines and technologies that EVs and Dynacord are bringing to the industry. So grab your headphones, pull up a chair, and join us for some sometimes nerdy, always fun conversations, all happening behind the rack. Antony, welcome to our podcast. Really nice to have you.
Great to be here, guys. Thank you.
Want to talk a little bit about how it's much easier these days to pair an amplifier and speakers, and it never was like that in the past. So we've known each other for a while, and it was never as easy as it is today. And I think EV and Dynacord have done a lot to help dealers and even end users, whether it's through the Bosch line or whatever. But before we get into that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and about your background?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, guys. My name is Antony Chliaropoulos. Since April of last year, I'm the key accounts manager for the Keyfinity brands in Canada. SFM being my key accounts, right? So basically my responsibilities are cover all of the brands, meaning Electro Voice, Dynacord, Bosch PA conferencing, and RTS intercoms. And I've been with these brands for a total of about 15 years. Happy to be serving the customers again in Canada, as always, and re-representing Electro Voice and Dynacord back in my portfolio is really, really cool because that's where I came from, right? So early on, being a musician and starting in the MI retail, I really gravitated towards EV as my first kind of like love of a product, if it, or nerding out on products, stuff like that. I always identified with EV's sound and really how they progressed over the years with some of the innovative products. Right? So, thanks again for having me.
Yeah. So if there's anybody who could appreciate the evolution, it's you.
Talking about evolution, I mean, I've known Antony since 2003 because, as he was mentioning, he came from the MI retail market or business. And as I mentioned in the first podcast, I worked at Steve's Music, and he was basically there when I started working. We were working in the PA department, and he was, I would say, he was the senior salesperson on the floor, and he basically taught me how to sell wireless microphone at the time and mixer and speakers. So he's one of the first person who basically got me into that business. So I'm very, very happy to have him on the podcast tonight, and also very happy to have him as a professional in the industry and being able to work with him.
That's cool. I didn't know that until today.
Me neither. And that's such a small world. Like
it is. Yeah. I recognized early on he's so, I mean, it's a long time ago, right? You mentioned 2004. I was like, oh my God, that is a long time. But I recognize an eagerness, an excitement that Hugo had. And, back in those days, there were a lot of people that passed through. It was kind of like a cool breeding ground, right? So, but I did recognize early on that, Hugo had an excitement and a real interest, passion, and a curiosity. That's so for me that was great because I knew that in our department that would be good for the customers and everything, right? So.
He still has it.
That's why we're all still in this industry.
He still teaches us. He still teaches us quite a few things.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, let's say, the journey that Evie's done throughout the past, and where they were and how they've come today.
Yeah, I mean, so my perception, even before I joined that what was then the Bosch Group, right? It was a really engineered approach to the Pro Sound products, everything from the microphones to the speakers. I did notice, first thing that struck me was a kind of a signature sound. And being in my retail space, it was easy to compare one to another. I was doing demos all the time, setting up these in-store demos. And I did notice a kind of a signature sound for Evie. Over the years, it was like, there was never a time, that I noticed that there was a standstill. There was always a progression of things. Really early on, like, I don't remember a powered box before. I think it was the SXA 360, which SX 300 was super popular. It was like a really big seller, 12-inch two-way. And then, a powered box, great. And then further on, there would be a lot of processing and the amplifiers that were sometimes Evie branded or Dynacord branded, that all really had this great sound, some smooth, very smooth, high-end, non-aggressive, which really kind of spoke to me. And then moving on, as far as what they did, basically taking into account the users of the systems, right? They always started to come up with new innovative ways to make things easier to get that sound. Your first goal is to make sound, continue to make sound over a long period of time, meaning don't blow up your system. And then in the end, you hope that it make good sound, right? So Evie always, over the years, had this consistent advancement of features that were not only innovative to the quality of sound, but innovative in the applications, how taking into account how the users really react to it, and then coming all the way to now where you have the systems that look at everything. They're really, really easy to deploy. They sound good without too much fuss. And that's really a key that I think is consistent all the way through. It used to be hard to match an amp with a speaker and hope that you have the right power with not too much or maybe not too little power to power your system. And then going forward, just giving you the tools to make it really a lot easier. And as you mentioned kind of in the beginning of the thing, much more forgiving to make it easier to get a good quality sound without too much fuss. I think that's right now where we stand. It's a really good collection of features that make it easier to deploy the systems, easier for our dealers to install the systems, really easy to make them sound good, and sometimes not really needing too much DSP or after processing to make it sound good in the beginning. If we can do it mechanically, those innovations are still there, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think I think there was a huge separation. I think it was when Bosch, now it's Keyinfinity that has pretty much the old Bosch group, I guess. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And I think it was when Bosch, prior to Keyinfinity, kind of started separating the divisions, right? They started saying, okay, let's separate the electronics from the speakers. And then they kind of started organizing it differently. Is that?
I think the Bosch years basically kind of focused the engineering driven side of things into a more marketable side of things. So whereas we, sometimes over the years, EV may have had additional products that kind of maybe do a little bit of the same thing, and it may not have been always clear which was the best option. I think the Bosch years came in and they basically gave a little bit more structure to, let's give you an offering of good, better, and best, and then maybe focus that. And then all of the energies basically went into getting those, those kind of options that are easier to choose from, right? So I think maybe that's part of the influence that Bosch had on the gang. But then again, it's always been, that core of EV engineers and product people that really drove it, along with the resources from the big owners, right?
I was lucky enough to see the facility in Burnsville, and it's an incredible facility. I mean, the amount of R&D and the way the building is laid out, it's a testament, I think, to the engineering that's involved. Like you said, if you make the product sound as good as possible mechanically and then perfect it, digitally, I think that's what sets these guys apart from other people.
I'm so jealous. The anechoic chamber.
I got to visit the anechoic chamber, and it was, I definitely took a selfie in there. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It was a bucket list thing, and it was a great experience to see the Burnsville facility.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was there, which was before I joined Bosch, and it had the same mark on me. And the amazing group of people that are there. Many who are still there. There's always, there's been a lot of changes over the years, but there's a really amazing group and kind of philosophy that comes out of that Minnesota, Burnsville, Minnesota facility there. Yeah.
And just the passion that you saw through all the employees that were there. I mean, we did demos. They have an amazing showcase area. I think they call it the Academy now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
They have an Academy room with basically almost every single model readily available on the market that you can hear and test and do A/B testing with. And we were lucky enough to even test the line arrays in the parking lot.
Oh, man.
I mean, you just saw it. These are employees that are playing around with this gear every single day. And they were just as excited as we were to hear it and play with it and test it and show us the features. And to me, I think that's what made the biggest mark, was just the passion from the engineers and the product specialists that we saw during that trip. And it was just, they left a mark for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know there's a lot of evolution in the products. Even when I was selling EV back in the days, now they're getting into column speakers, and which is even battery operated speakers. Mm-hmm. That's something.
Yeah, I mean, the innovation goes. I think there's less of a. The goal is not to be first; it's to do it better.
That's right.
And the market sets the trends, and sometimes we have to listen to the market and say, well, this product exists because, the people demanded it. And so we're going to put our EV stamp on it. In stuff like the LRC, those passive line arrays, or the eVerse 8 and 12 now, battery operated, very, very impressive small format speakers. Again, we're looking at a feature set. It solves a problem. But it still sounds awesome. And when people hear those specifically the eVerse 8 and 12, they're just blown away at how great they sound. And then they say, well, yeah, this is battery operated, and you can string Bluetooth to it. And so again, another example of innovation, and just basically, I mean, I'll say it, doing it better than what's out there. Not accepting something that's out in the market and say, let's do ours too. It's how can we make this an EV product through and through, right? And then it's about doing it better.
Yeah, before being the brand manager for Electro Voice and Dynacord, I was actually a user. So I've purchased a lot of the product and got to play with it. And something like the eVerse, when it comes to battery powered, especially from the mobile DJ standpoint, Yes, there were speakers. Yes, there were battery-powered speakers. But what EV did to those battery-powered speakers in the Ever series was unheard of. You know, it's kind of ironic, unheard of. But it's true. You know, something like the Quick Smart app, that's something I tell everybody about, and we should be talking about even more. The application to control a battery-powered speaker, I mean, from a mobile DJ standpoint, you know, a battery-powered speaker is often used in locations where A, there's no power, B, you need to really set up quickly and take down extremely quickly. So, for example, like a wedding ceremony, right? Often in these remote places, very difficult setups. With the Everse 8 and 12, it sounds amazing. You're not worried about battery life. The Quick Smart app, I can put a speaker near, let's say, you know, the front where the bride and groom are standing, so it's facing the crowd, but you won't see me in the images because I don't have to be there controlling the audio, controlling the Bluetooth streaming. I'm doing that all from my iPad or my cellular device, and it's so easy to do. And the best part is you can match because it's available in black and white. You know, a lot of brides these days, and grooms too, are saying, hey, you know, what does your system look like? Not even what does it sound like, what does it look like? So it's important to be blending in. So yeah, you want that little speaker that's discreet but powerful enough and easy to use for situations like I just explained. And you know, you guys, I think, have the best application on the market.
Yeah, and even just to the fact where you have that same Quick Smart app covering a number. So you can have your devices, your list of devices in Everse, in Evolve, and ZLX G2, all in there, and then you can connect between the systems, right? And it just makes it a lot easier to manage. How many times have you had this Bluetooth app that like you're just racking your brain to try to connect? It connects easily every time.
Or a different app for a different product series, or like this is one app for all the product series. And it's true. Like I'm not lying. I've literally done that where I've gone from an Everse at a ceremony setup, Everse from ceremony setup to an Evolve system for a cocktail setup where you need, you know, the subwoofer, whether it's an Evolve 30, 50, 70, 90 now. So 15-inch or 18-inch subwoofer, believe it or not. Same application. So I'm doing cocktails. I've got a trio. I don't even need a mixer anymore. Yeah. Everyone's plugged into, let's say, a 50M.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which has the mixer incorporated into the subwoofer. And I'm controlling all the inputs from my phone, from the exact same application. There's no two different iPads for the two different speakers. Like, it is so easy to use. You've got less equipment, less cables, less labor, and it's just easy to use. And it sounds amazing.
Yeah. If you haven't experienced the Evolve 50M with the Quick Smart app together, it is pretty. So I'm a musician, and I'm maybe plagued. I think maybe it's by my own design that I am always doing the sound while I'm playing and singing, right? And I you know, the first time I tried the 50M, I own a 50M, and did it all off of my iPad, switching back and forth from lyrics to the Quick Smart app.
God.
And just the ease of use for how you select a channel, and there is actually a fader motion on the app, right? It's just intuitive, and it made it a snap. And I did a three-piece band miking a drum set, and an auxiliary return for our monitors, all with two Evolve 50s and my iPad.
Without an external mixer, yeah.
One thing I can't stand, just my little rant for the episode.
Yeah. Okay, we haven't had a Vince rant in a long time. Let's go. It's always Franco ranting. I'm happy Vince is able to rant this stuff.
Is having an app per series, like in any other type of, like, whether it's residential AV or commercial AV, you have to download an app for this, and then you're like searching and it's not popping up, and you realize, I have to download the whatever Evolve. I'm just using EV as the Evolve versus the Everse app. That gets me like crazy. And I think just having all three, like you said, in the single app is so much more accessible for everybody, where they're not fumbling, or especially especially at a wedding and stuff like that, you don't want to start.
No, it needs to be quick
Generally
and reliable.
speaking. Yeah, generally speaking, they're going to set it up beforehand, anyways. Like
Who does that?
Yeah. It's not like there's wedding planners that change things at the last minute.
No.
And you have to change your whole setup.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That never happens.
Yeah. But that's crazy. And I remember selling a ton of ZLX for bars and stuff. Imagine having an app now and having to adjust versus like
amazing.
climbing up and having to adjust. Oh
And
my
even
God.
the Evolve now. So I think and correct, again, technical details sometimes have to be confirmed, but you have 8 inputs, right? So let's say you have a mixer, 8 inputs. By linking now 2 Evolve 50Ms or 70s or 90s, you can actually get up to, I believe, 16 inputs. So Cat6 cable,
Oh my God.
linking both units, and you're able to have 16 channels.
Yeah. And on the QuickSmart app, you just swipe left, swipe right for the channels
channels
that are on your left Evolve and your right Evolve, right? And it just makes it super easy.
And it's easy. It's super easy. And they've thought of everything in terms of the design. One of the product specialists was telling us how on the Evolve series, there's like a little, call it like a slant on top of the subwoofers. As a DJ, the subwoofer is often used as the drink table for a lot of people. But because of this little slant, you actually can't put a lowball glass on the subwoofer. Like it doesn't allow. So like
it'll slide off.
It's so smart, right? Like it's so smart, and it's little things like that make all the difference.
Is it by design?
Apparently, it's by design.
Wow.
The other thing
Pretty
too,
cool. You're right.
like a lot of speakers, the digital display is actually vertical to the back of the speaker. So you have to get directly behind the speaker at eye level to see the settings and play with your gain, the mode you're on, so on and so forth. On the Evolve series, it's actually placed at like a 45-degree angle, so that all you have to do is peek behind and you actually see all your input levels and all the settings. So that's by design. That's smart. People have thought about that to make it easier to use and applicable to everybody.
Yeah, and coming full circle onto what I was saying before, the application and the users contribute to everything we hear, we try to work it into the product as a practical feature. Some of them, like that, what you're talking about, the slant on the subwoofer, maybe we'll get the engineering guys to confirm whether that is 100% true. But I'm just going to say that is, and we'll own it. But there are a number of things that work themselves into the products that are by design and that are made to make it life easier with using our products. And I think it's one of the strongest overall goals that we've kind of added to our product design, right?
Absolutely.
Shows. No more sticky subwoofers, that's for sure.
No more sticky subwoofers, no more cables. Like I said, we're living in the reality where a lot of event designers are asking, what is the setup going to look like over how powerful is it? How loud is it? So to show up, at an event with an Evolve 70 or an Evolve 90 now, or any of the Evolve series, really, matching the color scheme, whether it's white or black, no cables to be seen, super sleek, and to be able to control it at a distance, these are all things that are really important, especially when we're catering to the really high end events, as a mobile DJ. And we're talking about how Electro Voice puts so much effort into making things easy and applicable for so many people, but so does their line card. Like, I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at everything, but there's a product at every single price point, starting from Aviva now, a new powered speaker series that is at an extremely affordable price point for an entry-level musician or DJ that's starting, all the way up to ZLX, ELX, EKX, ETX. Like there's so many options no matter what your application is. So it really is a nice portfolio to match any of the consumer's needs, which is really important. So I'm Team EV for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's not like I'm the brand manager or anything. I'm a bit biased, but it's okay. I'd rather be honest with the people.
Not that you're wearing
I'm not wearing an EV shirt or anything. Fun fact.
Coming back to the ease of use. And so when it comes to, if I may kind of bring it over to the install lineup, so that what we need to think about is not just the cost of ownership now, So for the customer who purchased the system, but the installers needs to be easy for the installers. So, SFM dealing is you deal with the dealer base, right? And our dealers and our integrator partners are the important link to our end customers, right? So if it's easier for to design into the product something that will make it easier for an installer on the top of a ladder, putting ceiling speakers into an opening, and holding a drill, or having a number of things in his hand, like in the EVID,
the Swift lock system.
Yeah, exactly. So in the EVID CG2s, where you have basically, you're able to kind of bring your speaker up, make your connection, and then just pop it in and have the dog ears flip out and put it into place. That's amazing. A one-handed operation. That's something that by design was built into the purposely built into that speaker design, and then even down to the design of the grill, right? So
yeah, the bezel-less design and
because I can see that. I in my past life,
how many ladders have we been on?
Seriously, yeah.
I knew you'd resonate with that.
We've all resonated. We've all seen our life flash before our eyes. I think, because we've all been in those situations.
And I guess we don't realize it, but when you've been in that situation and there hasn't been any evolution in that type of thing, there's two things. One, it could give the brand or the series a bad rap just because you're so fed up and you're having a bad day and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to use these speakers anymore. So just having that gives a better perception and you feel more comfortable and all that stuff. But the other thing too is obviously you have the dealers that are very business savvy, calculate their time and going in and out of a job and stuff. But you're wasting a lot of time. If you're not efficient in terms of your install, you're wasting a lot of time just for installing a speaker. And having that the Swift lock system, huge.
It's life-saving, literally.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I mean, we're thinking about stuff like that all the time and how to make it easier and how to make it better, right? So
even on like the EVID surface mounts, for me, this stood out. On the EVID surface mounts, the way, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it works is typically on a surface mount speaker, you've got your positive and your negative terminal, right? So as an installer, there's always, the scheduling conflict. Do I go in before the painters? Do I go in after the painters? Yeah. All of a sudden they're delayed. What happens? You get pushed. You've already started another job. Everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. What the EVID surface mounts, which is really cool, is that the connection point between the cable and the speaker is actually done on the mount itself. So you don't have to you're going to make your hole, you pass your cable, but you terminate the cable to the mount. Now, at this point, the speaker's not on the wall yet. So you've just got this nice plastic mount on the wall, call it like a ball mount if you want to call it that, and your connection point is already made. Now, let's say the painter's got to come in and paint the entire room. Well, we all know you don't want to put ceiling speakers in or surface mount speakers in because accidents happen. In the box of the EVID surface mount speakers, it actually comes with a paint cover. So on the mount itself, you just put the paint cover, your cable's already terminated, your mount is protected, the painters come in.
There's a bubble level in the mount.
There is a bubble level.
So that's cool. You can mount it level, right?
Yeah, so you don't have to pull out the torpedo level out of your back pocket. You put the paint cover on, the guy comes in or girl comes in, paints the room. And then after that's done, you remove the paint cover and you just slide the speaker onto the ball mount and your connection's done. That's all you have to do. So there's no remeasuring, re-terminating the cable. Someone covered the cable in paint.
Holding the speaker while you're trying to terminate.
Yeah, exactly. Holding the speaker or having someone else hold the speaker while you're trying to strip the cable and put it on behind. We're all laughing because we've all been through this stuff. We're all laughing. But these are things that make a difference.
Yeah.
To your point, even labor cost, functionality, even keeping employee retention. If you're able to keep it easy for your employees, people are going to want to work harder for you. So it's all little things like that. I mean, we can go on for hours in terms of how every product is innovative in these little approaches, but that's what makes Electro Voice different.
Yeah, I'm really happy they did that, especially with the EVIDs. Like the EVIDs has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But having the Swift lock system is really cool, and the EVID surface mount speakers. That is a
And the G2, the diameter of the hole. I sound like I'm selling the product now. I'm not selling.
well, you're wearing the jacket, so
I'm wearing the jacket, and I'm a little biased. I'm the brand manager. But just to talk about another innovation, like even on the G2s, the hole diameter is the exact same for 3 out of the 4 models, for the 4, the 6, and the 8. So what that means is when you're an installer, you're not changing your bit size or your hole saw. It's the exact same diameter. So in terms of install speed, it's a lot quicker. Your measurements are going to be the same. Your symmetrical rows are the same. Like it changes the game in terms of installation. It's little things like that. Again, we can go on for hours, but it's really, really well thought out.
Yeah. Staying in the integration, I'm really happy to see the V series, because that's something I think was kind of lacking. I would say for a long time.
It's definitely the V series is definitely a something that's filling a gap, let's say. But once again, we did it to the point where we're not just going to fill the gap because there's a gap there and put out some kind of product, which may or may be just like something else. We did it the right way. We put a lot of the additional technologies into the V series as far as the amplifiers go. Now with the addition of VZX, which is the controller part of it.
Yeah.
Now it falls into a specific category which keeps it cost effective, but offers, I think, more feature set than anything out there in the market. And once again, the app that accompanies it is really, really well designed, makes it very easy to configure and to put proper settings in there without having to go through
Software updates, firmware updates, everything is web-based.
Nice.
So you just put in the IP address of the VZX, and you have access to the full interface, so you can make all your changes or adjustments as easy as putting in the IP address, which is
and somebody with a little bit of experience can be trained on the entire system very, very, very quickly, right? So if you have your techs that are designing these systems and they're going in and they're setting up, there's even importation of speaker presets and those things, which is
nice.
unheard of, including FIR presets and you name it. So it makes it easy to go into the catalog of EV and say, I can pair this with this in this zone with these speakers and have processing built in. Even though the speakers are made to sound good without processing, now you have the ultimate, performance for every zone in your thing. So that's something that's really, I'm so happy to see that addition to our product line in the Dynacord brand. And something that's really going to help our integrators kind of, fill some spaces where we were not the go-to solution before.
Or the complete solution anyways, where it wasn't the VZX anyways that was the one I was specifically talking about.
Talking about amplifiers, I think you, Electro Voice and Dynacord has some proprietary technology in terms of saving power, managing power between different outputs. Maybe you want to elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So there, again, so coming back to making it easy to do business with us is cost of ownership as well. So if we talk about the EcoRail, where in a multi-channel amplifier, not all the zones are working all the time. So EcoRail can bring you to basically a standby operation where your big power requirement channels don't have to be active but your background music can stay active while your amplifier is operating at a 50% level, right? So the cost of use over if this is in a restaurant or a high traffic installation like a mall or department store, stuff like that, those cost savings over, somebody can look at your power analysis and look at that cost saving over a number of years, and it's significant, right? And then coming back to, make it easier, offering options to the customers to make it easy to match your speakers to the amplifiers. You have what we call
Power tank.
Power tank, exactly, where not every one of your channels needs to be an equal amount of power draw, but each channel can be individually analyzed and give only the power it needs. Keeping in mind that to not go over the total power for all zones, right? So again, helps with cost of ownership, help with design, ease of design, and a lot of other factors.
Eco-energetic footprint is going to be something very important in the years going forward. And even some of the big RFPs for government and for schools, and they're going to look at the energetic footprint of the solutions, and it might even become one key differentiator between your products and the competitor. So pretty cool.
That's a huge difference. That makes a huge difference. I really like the fact that you can compare, the most frustrating thing is designing a system and you're limited by the amount of channels. And you have to get another amp because you're just missing, but
100 watts there.
Yeah.
How many times did it happen where exactly to your point, you need to get another amplifier. Now you're changing your whole rack configuration, changing your cabling, your cable runs.
Yes.
But now with Power Tank, you've got that flexibility. And you're really using, if you calculate like dollar per watt, as they call it in the industry, you're using every single watt now because of the capability to share that power between all those channels.
And sometimes you can't daisy chain. Sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't daisy chain. So then you have to look at either a mixer or processor or whatever it is.
But even when we're talking about like 70 volt systems or 8 ohm systems now, a lot of the amplifiers in the Dynacord lineup, are flexible.
Even as low as I think the L series and the C series.
Yeah, you can take each one of your channels on a multi-channel amp and go take one channel in 70 volt, the other channel in low impedance, and, completely individually, design the channels that way. And it just, it saves you a lot of worry, but it saves you a lot of design work. And a lot of times when you don't have the perfect option, well, then you're saying, well, because of this big zone here, I need to go with a really bigger amplifier, but the customer is paying for a whole bunch of wattage they're not going to use, right? Yeah. It just makes it a lot easier to give the right solution in the right application, right?
And even when it comes to DSP, something like the IX lineup, the DSP is actually built into the amp.
Well, a lot of even the C series and the L series and onwards. I mean, that back in the day, that saved me a lot, just because you don't want to have to sell an external crossover just for your passive sub or whatever. You have it built in, so you could even do so much with just the built-in just the built-in stuff. Anyways,
and direct Dante connection in the IX amp.
That's
another whole opens up a whole bunch of other possibilities as far as just not needing additional hardware to be able to make your connections to audio, right? So
yeah. And speaking of DSPs, I know it's been a while, but the
MXE5, it's a standalone DSP processor, a high-end DSP processor, right? So really, when you need the offering of the highest quality standard and really open architecture DSP, So the MXC5 processor is something that's become a staple in our lineup under the Dynacord brand. And with all of the flexibility that you can do in the SonicQ software environment, along with MXC5, it makes it a super, super powerful processor. And now, basically, the equivalent of the power in the MXC5 can be available in the iX amps as well. So again, giving you a number of different options. Sometimes you have existing amplifiers or amplification, which could be in any third party or whatever, and you just need to up the processor game. Well, then you can go through the processor and the MXC5 alone. But if you were making any new design, you want to add the processing built into the amplifier, you have that option as well. So it's really giving those options to the customers and to the designers of the systems, right?
I'm relatively new to like DSP setup and configuration. And I had the privilege to go to Straubing in Germany, their headquarters. Antony was on that trip as well. Our technical application group also attended that training. And it was just nice to see, I have to say, and this is a mention to everyone in Germany, hopefully they're watching, but the way they received also our feedback. You know, being in the industry for so long, SFM with multiple brands, seeing different applications, whether even our, post-sale support, our technical application group has such incredible experience and valuable knowledge. And it was so refreshing to have a group like the engineers in Germany listen, ask the questions, and be so receptive to our feedback. And it's cool because even after that training, I'm seeing updates to SonicQ, and I'm like, hey, we spoke about that possible update, in Germany, and they actually included it. Or they made tweaks to it. And that's something, again, a testament to the brand, right? They're listening to the people that are out in the trenches that are actually doing this work and have all this valuable knowledge. And they're not just keeping it to themselves. They really were receptive to it. And that means a lot, especially as a distributor. So thanks to everyone at Electro Voice for.
Yeah, the gang in Straubing is a big part of our history out there as well. They've been around for a long time. They've contributed to designs in both the EV Camp and Dynacord, right? And those guys are just bar none, the top of the top as far as engineering goes. And we're key in a lot of the development of these, features over the last decades, right? So, yes, that was a great trip. It was a great personal experience for me. Being part of the company for so long, I never had the opportunity to go to Straubing, and meeting up with those guys and in their own home was a really exciting part for me.
It was a great trip. Yeah,
but there's nothing like pretty large corporation listening to feedback and implementing features based on feedback you gave them like a couple of weeks ago. This is again a testament
to the brand.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
to the brand. Yeah,
there's nothing more frustrating than companies that don't always listen.
Yeah.
It's
you can name a couple of them.
Yeah, but especially when you're getting good feedback, like constructive feedback, and not just rants all the time and complaining. But when you're getting constructive feedback from people that
use your products,
like most of us here who have a bit of a passion for the brand and stuff like that, it's kind of disappointing sometimes that the brand just doesn't take the feedback, and for the better, right? For the better. So
yeah, and it was, on a personal note, even for myself, and this is kudos to the tag group that we have here at SFM. Obviously, I work with them very often, but in a different type of environment, right? It's, corporate, in the office, quick conversations. But to have spent those, 4 days in Germany with them, it was incredible to see the amount of knowledge that these guys have, and I'm not just blowing smoke. It was really impressive to see how individually all the guys that were present there, the level of knowledge and the amount of experience they have. Now I understand why they have the reputation that they do. So.
Yeah, and that was reciprocated by the team down there. They saw the potential of what the tag team at SFM, with all of their experience and their knowledge. It's a great collection of knowledge. They saw that as a great opportunity to share and to take snapshots of their experiences, how we do it here in Canada or, in North America, et cetera, and then, try to find ways to work it into to making the products better. Right? So.
It's great to see a brand like EV evolve throughout the
pun
years.
intended.
Yeah, exactly. And be resilient throughout the years. We see brands come and go, but EV has stuck around for a long time, and they've evolved. It's not just the same old, and some products stand on their own ground with their old stuff, and they survives. EV is one of them, where I've had guys just call me just to change the woofer after 25, 30 years, and that happens. But and it's nice to see all the new products and all the feedback they're getting to kind of hit those pain points and make the user experience and the integrator experience so much better.
Yeah, I mean, been around for a long time. Actually, 2027 will be the centennial of the founding of Electrovoice, right?
Very cool.
So we've all heard the story. I believe in 1927, the founders of Electrovoice basically were commissioned to make a PA system for the famous football coach Newt Rockne, and Newt basically contributed the name when he called the system, the PA system, he called it his electric voice. So that became Electrovoice, the name of our company.
Wow.
And so 99 years old right now, let's call it in 2026, right? So yeah,
Wow.
you don't last that long unless you've been doing a lot of things right. And as a EV representative, I'll what do you do? Pick the suspenders. We're proud to wear the badge and to wear the 99 years, on our sleeve and show that's it takes a long time to develop technologies the right way, and I think there's another 100 years coming. So,
thank you, and I think we thank you and the rest of the EV team just for the passion, because I think that also helps bring and carry a brand, because without it, I don't think those brands last very long. Thank you very much for stopping by on our podcast. I think we didn't even discuss some of the other brands under the Bosch banner, but or under the Keyinfinity banner, but we hope you'll come on our podcast
I'd love to come back anytime you guys need me.
And the story, Antony doesn't live very far from here. So I suspect he's a phone call away from the next podcast.
Exactly.
What are you guys doing tomorrow?
But we'll definitely have you on. It'd be a pleasure having you on to talk about.
Yeah.
Cool. It's my pleasure too, guys.
The other brands as well, RTS, Bosch Conferencing, Bosch PA.
And we have I have a lot to pick on your brain for RTS, so I think it'll be a fun podcast.
Yeah, RTS by itself. I mean, we were having a training earlier today and tomorrow and the day after. RTS by itself we could do a podcast on it, like just that brand. It's so rich, so many users, such a complete line of products also by itself. So, yeah.
And that famous question, what are you doing about comms? Again, we'll keep that for another podcast.
That's you're stealing my line.
Exactly. Thanks again, Antony. Much appreciated. And we can't wait to have you again.
Awesome.
I'll be your love. I'll be your sunshine. I'll be your love. I'll be your sunshine.